Lifting family, welcome back. So today we're going to be reviewing the Tonor wireless microphone, and basically so the way that this is set up is that this is a freebie item that was given to me to do a review on this product. Basically right now I'm using my Canon T3i microphone, so I'm not trying to use any external microphones. And so what I'm going to do is basically just follow the steps that are listed to get this one set up. So in terms of this, we've got to install two AA batteries into the base of the microphone. Then the receiver comes pre-installed with a built-in lithium-ion battery, so that could be run without a phantom power since that has built-in batteries into it itself, which it's charging right now. It says then to move on to step 2, which is insert the receiver into your audio system. Insert the receiver into your audio system. The jack is either a 6.5mm or a 3.5mm one. It comes with an adapter so that you can basically be able to use a standard adapter. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is plugging that into my camera. And then it says that it's compatible audio systems include but are not limited to speakers and audio mixers. Step number 3 is turn on the device's power switch and also the receiver's power switch. When the RF AF light is illuminated, the receiver is functioning normally. Before turning on your microphone, ensure all output volume is lowered to avoid damaging your equipment due to sudden spikes in audio output. So the next step basically is to get this all plugged in and powered up and hopefully receiving some audio. Because I'm going to try to use this as best as I can out of the box, I want to make sure that that's exactly how it is, how it's done. So in terms of any sort of charging that would be required from the receiver, that's going to be something that it is what it is. It'll be how it comes out of the box. I will need to use a power source, so I'm going to need to be close to a wall when I'm using this, just because in terms of that, the low power battery light is on already because the battery is not itself charged. That's something that I'm going to need to make sure that I'm close to a power source to be able to do that. So, I am not familiar with radio frequencies when it comes to microphones. I am a newbie, and hopefully you are as well. Hopefully you can also hear this in terms of how well the microphone itself works. I've basically turned on the microphone and then turned on the receiver and followed the directions in terms of it saying that when the RF AF light is illuminated, the receiver is functioning normally. And in terms of any sort of a syncing, it does not really give any sort of a instruction on how to do that. So I'm hoping that this is synced right now. I'm going to go off of this review based on this right now of what I have in front of me. So overall, I cannot hear the audio quality. So I will have to then go back in and basically just give you a review on the audio quality once I'm done doing this review. So overall, I like the kit. It is basically what appears to be a plug-and-play style kit, and this is pretty simple. I mean, as long as the receiver is charged, that is something that you can use this on the go. I've got this plugged into again my Canon T3i camera, so I am then able to utilize this out in the field, which I don't really go out in the field. So for me, this can serve some purpose though, just because I have thought about doing some in-person interviews, and doing something like this would be very, very cool. But all this is reliant on 1, the audio quality, and then 2, if right now this is actually working. So that part I am not sure. It does not give details in the instructions in terms of how to actually sync the two if that is required. Overall though, fairly simple plug-and-play style setup, and it's pretty easy to get it going. The batteries were a little bit tricky to kind of get in there, but at the same time I know that they're going to be held in place. The way that the instructions show them is different. They actually point down, so they'll point towards the bottom in terms of the little head, the positive side of the AA batteries that are on these. Other than that, again, there's no details on how the syncing works. There's also no details on the channels. So for an intro style mic setup, there are some details that are missing with this, so that would definitely be a down marker in my opinion, just because that's something that does not take all that much money in terms of adding a little bit more detail to the instructions here to be able to kind of give a frequency description. On the back it does give some system specifications and some details there, but there's no frequency adjustments. And then on the microphone itself, I'm not really sure how to adjust those frequencies other than to switch back forth that high and low. And the instructions themselves do not detail how to go through the total of 25 different frequency channels. You can ask questions with their customer service, and it says to contact their Amazon customer service, but there is no details on how to do that either. So definitely some features that need to be fixed. Overall though, I'm hoping that the major piece here is that this is a plug and play style system that would allow me then to basically just get this set up to turn on the microphone, turn on the receiver, and plug it into my camera, and then hit the record button on my camera and go. That is going to be it for this review. So in terms of the pros and cons, the big thing is that the microphone has a solid feel to it. It's also got the little buffer pad here so that I am not then just kind of spitting my voice into the microphone. And then I'm not sure if I'm using this right. There is a rubber piece that's on here. I'm going to assume that that's so that the microphone does not slip up and down your hand, which is a nice additional feature as long as I'm using that right. It does not say within the directions as to what this actually is. Maybe microphone people are exactly knowing what this is, and then they're kind of laughing at me if I'm using this wrong. Overall, the microphone is definitely a nice value. I think that with given everything that is basically a plug-and-play style setup, I would rate this as a 4-star out of 5 stars. I think that the downgrade would basically be in the instructions. I think that that is definitely worth downgrading this 1 star because that's something that you can easily update and add some more information. And then that would also help the end user with wanting to keep the microphone, just because there's enough detail there outside of just turning it on and giving it a chance. I think that a little bit more details in the instructions is going to be very, very helpful, especially when it comes to those frequencies. I'm very close to this camera. I am probably about 3 feet away. I don't know what that looks like when it comes to being 20 feet away. So, and I am mostly up close like this, so I think that backing up a little bit while I'm doing this, and hopefully my camera stays in focus, I think that overall, right now, again, about 5 feet now, I think that this is a good value for the camera. So having said all that, smash that thumbs up if you like this video, and then comment below if you have any questions. If you're interested in this mic, I will definitely make sure that I link that in the description. As always, thank you for watching, and keep pushing.